marginalized by new media. So you have this incredible opportunity to say, oh, well, guess what? The old media, aka mainstream media or lamestream media, used to be dominant. Now, not so much. Felicia Fishy has pointed out that you have YouTube stars talking with the president. Why? It isn't because they bathed in a bathtub with a bunch of Fruit Loops. See, I got that right. It's because of how many viewers that they have. When you're pulling in 8.5 million viewers on YouTube, you have a massive audience. 8.5 million. And what are we doing?
Do we want to be the type of people who say those people aren't important for me to talk to because they look at Glozell? Is that what we're saying? I really want to know.
It seems like it. It seems like that's been the majority opinion on the right has been, ha ha ha, look at these. Sorry, go ahead, Fishy.
No, so I'm going to grow the movement by never talking to anyone that's not like me.
Well, exactly. Please.
No, I want to destroy a narrative that we have on the right, and that narrative is 3 words: low information voters. They don't exist. And here's
I hate that term with a passion. They're apolitical people. Don't insult them by calling them low information voters. They're not stupid.
Let me destroy it, Leslie, and here's why. They are not low information. You've just not given them anything to care about. You have not given them a story to care about. If you go to these, quote, low information voters, okay, let's review. They can tell you stats and statistics on sports going back to the 1800s, if baseball is what they follow. They know this stuff inside and out. I mean, they truly are, no pun very much intended, inside baseball. They know this stuff well because they have a passion about it, because they're passionate about it. They're not low information. It's that the information that they're absorbing isn't political because it has no relevance to them. You can take somebody that knows tons of stuff about soap operas and actresses and everything else, and they can dump all of this information out. They have the backstory on all these celebrities and everything else, and we're like, oh, well, we dismiss them as they're a low information voter. No, they're not. They are a wealth of information about the topic that they're interested in, and we have given them zero reason to care about our candidate and our stories because we don't tell a good story. Instead, we have 3 points and a PowerPoint presentation. Thank you very much. A vote for me.
Well, and think about the typical liberal, or what we would call a liberal. They think of themselves as apolitical. They're not political. They just have things that they care about. What they care about is the environment. They care about the poor. They care about women's issues. They're not really into politics. They don't know anything about politicians, but they're going to be activists for those causes. Those causes are liberal causes. We don't have any conservative causes. If you are a conservative, you have to be involved in or interested in electoral politics and know about elections and candidates and stuff. That's boring. People don't care. We need conservative causes, and we don't really have any. And as far as media people go, remember, Comedy Central is just a comedy show about the news. We ghettoize ourselves by identifying all of our people as the conservative YouTube person, the conservative music person, the conservative news show. This is the conservative answer to. We are separating our stuff and minimizing our audience, minimizing even our potential audience, because we are making people proclaim themselves to be conservative if they watch it. We ghettoize ourselves on that.
And that's true. We actually have, and I talked about this in the video, but there are actual people who have conservative values and have conservative principles and who may even be secret Republicans on YouTube that I certainly watch and I think are really good folks to watch. And no, are they? Is that what they are first? No, it's not. They're not going to be, waving the conservative banner around all the time, but it's who they are and what they do in their with their message. And the fact that we have this sort of obsession with labeling, I don't understand why we do need to say that we have a conservative alternative to the Daily Show or something like that. No, just have somebody who's moderately, conservative be funny on the internet. That would be great. I would appreciate that.
Well, and that's thank you for saying that, Jersey, because that's part of my point is I don't feel that we necessarily need, here's the conservative alternative. I'm not pushing that at all. What I'm saying is that nobody's even making the attempt. I don't see the people stepping out there trying to say, I am first and foremost an entertainer, and I'm trying to be funny. Oh, and by the way, occasionally I make a political point. Well, okay. Where's that? Go ahead, Andy.
Well, sorry, I'm going back a little bit here. First of all, just a little bit of a contrarian thought. The low information voter, that term was brought about as an alternative. It was actually a nice thing to say, versus because we were calling liberals idiots, stupid, childish, and a lot of names. And what it was, low information voter was simply saying, no, they simply don't have much information because it's denied them by the media, by entertainment industry that treats every adult like a child, by academia, which flat out shields them from information. So I just want to, I understand where that term has gone awry, and I understand that. I do. I just wanted to let people know it started out with very good intentions, as a nicer way to put things. Now, we also wish that, we talk about, well, why don't we have the conservative Jon Stewart? They have been trying for years to have a liberal Rush Limbaugh, to have a liberal Sean Hannity. You know what? We have more things that they don't have right now that are reaching a lot of people. Or I guess it's just different aspects, but really they need a lot of what we have, and they cannot break into those markets. Every time they do an Air America, it crashes. And one thing that we have a real problem with, though, is creating a market for our goods. And a good example would be in movies and actors, conservative actors and actresses. It's really hard, folks, because they simply get blackballed. Okay? And there is one channel right now where you go to watch comedy in general. That's Comedy Central. Okay? To do something like Jon Stewart, well, if you're a conservative, they won't let you on. Greg Gutfeld is not going to get a show.
That's the thing. I'm sorry, Andy. I have to cut in here, because that's what we're talking about with YouTube. There is no barrier for entry. There is not that kind of push from the producers to say, okay, you have to say this, and this. You can only be liberal. That's the thing. With YouTube, you have absolute creative control over what you do and what you say. The problem is that either we're not doing that, or we're not embracing it. In the case of, say, Julie Borowski or Remy, we aren't doing a good enough job of supporting the people who are actually creating some good content, or we aren't. Yeah, we just don't know to look there, or don't know to go there, because if there are conservative actors, conservative directors, how on earth, why would you be trying to break into Hollywood when you know it's going to be an environment that is hostile to you, when you could just try and break into YouTube, which is going to be an open environment, and if your content is good, then it will be clicked on, it will be viewed, and people will watch it and support you. And I think that's a huge thing here that people don't realize, that YouTube is made from individuals. It's not a corporate thing. It's not the left has not gotten its tendrils on all of YouTube. It's open. It's a forum for you to create stuff.
No, actually, I agree, and I think YouTube is a great market to use anytime. And one of the things I like about it is that, like Fishy was saying, we wait until the very end, the last few months, and then before an election, our candidate comes out and tries to suddenly win everybody over. While the left is marketing their message out there all the time. Well, this also affects. Remember, we were saying, my gosh, we can't get people, to walk neighborhoods. Fishy puts together all this training, this great training that makes it easy, that shows them how they can get involved, and very few people want to. Part of that is because the Republican Party is something that, in the conservative movement, in terms of elections, is something that almost doesn't happen and just spontaneously arrives on the scene a few months before every election, then goes away. Now, when you're on YouTube and releasing these things on YouTube constantly, and using your actors, your writers, and so forth, and doing that, is keeping conservatism in the eye of the people all the time. And that means, and when there's much more going on, more activity throughout the 2 years between every election cycle, then they're going to be much quicker to get involved when election time comes around. And by the way, one other thing, besides getting people more involved in YouTube, rather than just telling them, hey, we want you to walk neighborhoods and what, I want to get them better equipped to do what they do all the time, which is go on Facebook, go on blogs. People like to talk on Facebook and blogs. Well, wouldn't they like to be a little more equipped to be able to make a quick point, without beating somebody in the head? That's what we do here at the Refinery. So I just hope we can get it out to more people, because this is something, we equip them to do something they can do all the time, and they don't have to be walking neighborhoods to do it.
Absolutely. And as a person who has done both, who has walked neighborhoods and who has engaged with people frequently on Facebook about all manner of subjects, one does not give you blisters. One might give you fits, but does not give you blisters. One of the other things that we want to talk about,
I don't know. Hitting that all caps lock, that right there.
Nah. It's not bad. It's not as bad as the walked a bunch of blocks, knocked on 200 houses. It's not as bad as those blisters.
But I
remember, capital letters mean you care, and exclamation points mean you understand how serious it is.
Here's the thing, though, and this, because I want to call back to something Andy had said before, doing all the prep and all the work for block walking, some people are not going to do those things. They're not comfortable doing those things or whatever. But we can all spend time learning how to get better talking about conservatism, looking for those stories that we've been talking about to illustrate conservatism. And we have a great example of that a little bit in that video we did that people should, again, check out because it's good. Everybody says so, all the 18 people who've watched it. But being able to talk conservative things in a non-threatening way, following what the party of choice has said about asking people questions, the way Cori brings it up all the time. Ask people their opinions and go from there and find out what they care about and spend the time there. Every one of us not only can do that, we must do that. If we are going to change the culture, it's going to start one-on-one with people like that. And it's not a sexy solution. It's not a brilliant thing. You're not going to get a lot of clicks, likes, hits, etc. for that. But it's the only thing in the long run that's going to do it, I think. And that is taking that one-on-one time, learning how to communicate conservatism better, one-on-one even, and then encouraging people who do that to make content that can be shared that will further that.
Yeah.
Really?
We are very
That's
mature
what you're laughing about? Okay.
We're really mature here in the chat room. Fishy's given this great speech and then doo-doo. She said doo-doo.
Doo-doo. She said it twice.
Yeah. One of the other things that we wanted to talk about tonight, and sort of in the same vein as the YouTube, not really in the same vein, but transitioning from the YouTube interviews Obama thing, is the idea that Obama pretty much trolled the right with this interview session. Particularly with who he picked, and the fact that all of the way it was presented, the timing of it right after the State of the Union, all of these things was a thumb in the eye to conservatives, and we reacted exactly the way that he wanted us to react.